this is trimming. So I've got a leather hard pot here. It's an even thickness most of the way down, but it gets a little bit thicker at this base area where I've left a little bit more clay. And here I've marked out for myself, kind of with a fingernail, kind of the chunk that I'm going to be ready to remove to create an even thickness throughout the whole piece, all the way through, such that my outside curve will be the same as my inside curve. And I can make a nice little foot ring as well. So I'm going to put it where I think is centered, upside down. I'm kind of eyeballing it. And then I'm going to secure it with 3 blobs of clay, of the same type of clay that I'm using, if you end up using different kinds of clay. Okay, and I'm making like an equilateral triangle. If you'd like to stand up and look down on this is going to be helpful. All right, so I've got those on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my wheel going. And I'm going to lightly trace a circle. So I'm stabilizing my wrists. I've got a needle tool, and I'm just going to lightly trace a line, and then I'm going to stop it. You'll notice that it's not quite centered because there's a discrepancy between where the line is and where the edge of my piece is. And over here, it comes closer to where the edge is than it does over there. So what I'm going to do is find the middle of the side that it's closest to the edge of my pot, and I'm going to move it in that direction. So for this piece, it's right there. So I'm going to remove my blob, and I'm just going to lightly slide it over, and I'm going to press on my blobs again to secure it. And I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of water and erase that line that I just made. And I'm going to make a new one. And usually this just takes a couple quick tries. So the middle of the skinniest side is here now. So I'm going to just move that over a hair one more time. I'm erasing that. All right, that's pretty good. Just a little bit more this way. And then all right, I'm centered. So then I'm going to take a trimming tool, which might look like this, or like this, depending on how big your piece is. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the excess clay on the outside first, and then I'm going to do the interior foot ring. So where was that mark that I made? Right here. Okay, so I know that here to here is kind of my excess stuff. So I'm going to just start cutting into it. I'm stabilizing my left hand on top because it might fly off. That happens sometimes. And I often catch it before it bashes into the edge. You want to go at about 3/4 of the speed available on your wheel, not too much faster. So I'm just taking off this excess clay. Now, since this area is a big continuous area, I'm going to use a huge tool, but for a small beginner pot, you wouldn't need to use this larger one. You just use a nice small one because it's an appropriate size for what you're doing. So if your clay is coming off and glomping back onto the piece, if it's sticking back to your piece may be too wet. It should come off in like nice ribbons that are leather hard and not fly all over the place. So I've got the outside pretty much where I want it. That's where I want my foot ring. The outside, I've taken off the excess weight. So now what I'm going to do is do the inside of the foot ring. And this is like what makes it pretty, basically. So I've got my outside, which I think I've thrown a little off center, but I'm going to work with it anyway. And then I've got the inside. I'm going to mark out where I'm going to have my foot ring stop. So like that, ooh, that is off center. I'm going to scooch it slightly. Just real quick take that off. So now I'm going to try that again. I'm going to keep, yeah, that's looking better. I'm going to keep that outer bit there is going to be the part I keep, and this inner bit is going to be where I trim away. So I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to work my way across to what, for me, reading it down is 3 o'clock. So I'm going to press into it and drag straight across. Press into it and drag straight to the outside without letting it get away from me. It is possible to go through the bottom of your pot. That's why you feel it at the beginning, to kind of feel how much excess weight you have. Because if you're not sure and you're guessing, at some point in your life as a potter, you'll go through. So I think I'm probably at the point where the inside curve is about where I want it to be. I can just take a finger and kind of smooth it out because I don't want any roughness there. Now it's just kind of cleaning it up. So it's still looking a little thick to me here, so I'm gonna remove a little bit more. I want this to be nice and flat. You know, the whole point of the foot ring is that it stands up and looks pretty and removes excess weight.
Well, you're recording a video.
And then from here, all I would do is take a nice little sponge or just a wet finger and smooth it over and make everything look very nice. And that's it.